Hello everyone, welcome to Outwood Primary Academy. This is the induction meeting for reception children who will be starting school in September. My name's Jackie Gray and I'm the Director of Early Years across the Academy Trust. You can see a picture of me down there in the corner, just so that you know who I look like. I have to say that I think I've got the most wonderful job in the world, because I've been an early years teacher for a lot of years and I still thoroughly enjoy working with young children. They never fail to amaze me and fascinate me because they've got such curious minds and they have a joy of learning, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with them. So in my role, I support the teachers across the trust and work with the young children. Now, normally, under normal circumstances, the induction meeting would be held in the school and you'd be able to meet your child's teacher and go into their classroom and see the provision. But unfortunately, in these unprecedented times with the COVID pandemic, we have to limit the amount of visitors, restrict visitors that come into school. So I'm doing this presentation virtually so that you have the information that you need for when your child starts school. So, just a little bit first about safeguarding. Around school, you will see posters with the name of the designated safeguarding lead and her picture or his picture. So, if you have any concerns at all, please don't hesitate to speak to that person about your concerns. Children start school at about 8:50. It depends on the different academies across the trust, but normally in the schools they start at 8:50. If children arrive after 8:50 and certainly after 9 o'clock, you would need to go to the office so that children could get their attendance mark. Medical appointments, if your child has a medical appointment, then please let us know as soon as you can, and then we can make sure that they get their correct mark on the attendance register. If your child's going to be absent from school, could you please let us know before 8:50, start of school? And just to say that we do take attendance really, really seriously, because for us, lack of attendance is lost learning. And we just want to make sure that every child across our schools makes the best possible progress. So by attending regularly, you will make sure that your child makes the best possible progress. Medical needs, could you let us know if your child has got any medical needs? And then in terms of medicines, we can give medicine, but only if it's prescribed by the doctor and has to be administered 4 times a day. If this is the case, then you would need to go to the office and get a permission slip, and then we'd be able to give the medicine to your child. Could you please ensure that contact details are up to date so that if we do have any problems during the day and we need to get in touch with you, we've got the correct contact numbers. That's really important. Just a little bit about the school day, and this may depend on different academies, but normally the doors are open at 8:50 in order for lessons to begin promptly at 9 o'clock. We have quite a lengthy lunch time so that children can socialise during the lunchtime session in the dining room, and then they have an opportunity to go outside and play with their friends in the playground. Afternoon sessions begin at 1 o'clock and school ends at 3:15. Normally at this time we would be able to give you your child's start date, but school will be in touch with you because we're still waiting for government guidance as to how the organisation will look in September. So, a nice bit now, we've got some of the administration details out of the way. Your child's teacher will be contacting you and your child because we think it's really important that your child knows who their teacher's going to be and a little bit about what will be happening when they go into school. So the teacher will do a short video presentation so that they can introduce themselves to your child and maybe show them a few of the activities and things that they might be doing when they get into reception class. So that will be really nice for your child to get to know your teacher a little bit before they come into school. School uniforms. At Outwood Trust, we really do take our really do have high expectations in terms of children's achievement, in terms of the environment and how we support children to look after their environment, and how we support children to take care of their appearance and look really smart. So the uniform for Outwood primary schools is really smart, lovely purple jumpers, grey or black trousers. So there's a list here of all the things that your child needs. Actually, it says grey tailored trousers, skirt or pinafore. So it tells you exactly what your child needs as part of their school uniform. If your child is new to the school, we do provide a uniform bundle to start them off. And you will have already completed a form so that your child has that ready for when they start school. Could I just ask, please, that clothing is labelled, because it's important that if children take their cardigan off in the playground at lunchtime, we sometimes end up with a huge pile and we're trying to find out which jumper or cardigan belongs to which child. So if it's got your child's name on, you can be assured that they would get their own jumper back. We have in the past asked that you send a change of clothes in case of accidents. But because of the COVID-19, we have to limit the amount of things that go home from school and the amount of things that come into school. So we won't be asking for this at the moment. Your teacher will explain more about this when they contact you a little bit closer to the time and we have more updates on how we move forward with this. So a little bit more about the uniform still in terms of PE and games kits. Children won't be doing PE in September, again, due to COVID-19. So we will keep you updated on when this is going to begin. But these are the things that they need as part of their PE kit. We do ask that children don't wear jewellery, and this is purely for safety reasons. So please, no earrings, because they do get caught on things. So no jewellery except for watches, no makeup or nail varnish, hair accessories, simple, small, and either purple, white, black, or grey so that they match the school uniform. And then if children have got long hair, it needs to be tied back at all times, please. Children must bring a waterproof hooded coat every day because we do go outside in all weathers. And again, please asking that everything's named, even coats and PE equipment, PE kits, please. Lunchtimes, universal free school meals for all children from upper foundation to year 2, regardless of income. Some pupils will be entitled to what they call a pupil premium top-up. And this is based on parents receiving certain benefits. It's additional funding and it goes a long way in providing extra resources for the school, and your child will benefit from that. There will also, it could be that your child then receives a free school meal throughout Key Stage 2, should you still be in receipt of certain benefits at that time. The information regarding pupil premium will be on the consent form that you've already completed. So just make sure that that bit has been completed, and if not, you could speak to somebody at the school office. You'll find an application form in your packs, and the school office will be more than happy to help you to complete it should you need some help, or we'll email it direct to your local authority on your behalf. So if your child does bring a packed lunch, could you please make sure that it's a healthy, balanced meal, juice or water, and no nuts, please, or nut products, because just in case other children have got an allergy to nuts. So, a little bit about the curriculum now and what your child will be learning when they come to school. There are 7 areas of learning, and each of those areas has got certain aspects. So, across these 17 aspects, we will be supporting, monitoring, and tracking your child's progress. It's really important that children learn to communicate so that they can make effective relationships with other children and they can communicate their needs. We want all children to be able to read and write at the expected level when they leave reception class. We have what we call the early learning goals at the end of reception, and that's the expected level that we would really want children to be when they leave reception. And as your children goes through reception class, we will talk to you about your children's development, what we need them to do next, how we're going to support them, and how you can help them in the home environment. So we work very closely in partnership with you to meet your child's needs and to support their learning and development. We're very proud across the Outwood Academy Trust of the learning environments in early years. There's been a lot of investment in equipment. Teachers have had a lot of training in how to make the most effective learning environments. And when you look at these 2 images here, the one about the space, one of our topics is around amazing planets, and this particular teacher has chosen to look at space. I was fascinated when I observed the children in this classroom. My word, their knowledge of the planets was amazing. The teacher had gone to a lot of trouble to set up her environment so that children were really inspired to learn. They were writing about spaceships. They were reenacting stories that they'd had about going to space. They were doing paintings of planets. They were making models of rockets. So everything was linked to the topic of space, and children were just totally immersed and fascinated in this project that they were doing. So, a lot of rigorous planning to make sure that children learn and develop and make rapid progress, but really tapping into their interests to make sure that learning is fascinating and exciting. In terms of the outdoor environment, again, lots of really wonderful resources. You can see here that this is an outdoor area, an outdoor water area, and you can see how the equipment is organised really effectively so that children can go and select what they want. Excuse me. And take it to use it in the environment, but then it supports them to take responsibility for looking after the equipment and make sure that it goes back in the right place. In the water area here outdoors, children can really explore water on a grand scale. So they'll bring out tubing and guttering and use buckets of water, and they can watch how the water cascades down and how they can slow the flow of water and make the water go faster. So they're doing that exploration of scientific experiments outdoors with the water area. So equipment is set out in a specific way to really support their learning and help them to make progress across those 7 areas of learning and those 17 aspects. So very rigorous planning to support your child's learning and development. But most of all, to make learning fun and exciting. We want all children to be able to read when they leave the reception class. And in Outwood schools, we use what we call a systematic synthetic phonics system, and it's called Read Write Inc. And it really is designed to create fluent readers, confident speakers, and willing writers. The teacher will explain to you about the phonics system and how you can support your child at home. And every step of the way will keep you informed about how your child is doing, what they need to learn next, and how you can support them in the home environment. We really want children to develop a love of reading and to enjoy books. So we have a wide range of reading, different genres in the classroom. Teachers read stories to children every day. And I know from my experience of being in the schools that children absolutely love stories and get completely engrossed in some of the lovely fictional stories and enjoy learning different information from the factual books that are in the classroom. So lots of time will be spent using books, reading books, and developing children's love of reading. I've talked a little bit about outdoor education, but just to say, whatever the weather, children will go outdoors so that they can experience the weather, the seasons. So if you could make sure that your child dresses appropriately, and if it's really, really cold outdoors, that they bring that warm clothing so that they can play out and enjoy their learning outdoors. Just a little bit about our behaviour policy. Our aim is to ensure that every single child is happy, confident, and has high self-esteem. So we really support positive behaviour management, and we try to encourage children to reflect on their behaviour and to make the right choices. We know at times children don't always make the right choice, and I know you'll find this at home. So we've put a system in place to support them to reflect on their behaviour and make the right choices. There's a little bit about it here in terms of the consequences, but we do have a behaviour policy. So please don't hesitate to ask your teacher if you can look at that, if you would like a copy. But certainly, if we have any concerns about your child's behaviour, we would speak to you straight away, and together we can work at supporting them so that they're able to make those effective relationships with other children and be part of that school community. Because when children can regulate their own behaviour, it helps them all the way through school and in fact to become a really good citizen in future life. So it's important that we really support children to have, to be able to self-regulate and have really good positive behaviour. I've already said that we absolutely want to work in partnership with you, and different schools have different ways of doing this. But there's just a list here of some of the things that we do to get that partnership between school and home really effective. We might have craft afternoons in some schools where parents can come in and work with their children and make lots of lovely, exciting craft things. Sometimes we have reading mornings where parents come in and spend a little bit of time just enjoying a book with their child. We have Twitter, and if you want to be part of the class account, if you can let your teacher have your Twitter account, then they would be able to work with you so that you can access that closed class account. But the general Twitter account, teachers put things on that they might be doing the following week in school. They might put newsletters on there. They might put like the craft afternoons and lovely things that are going on in school go on through Twitter. You will receive newsletters and they will keep you up to date with what's going on in the classroom. So lots of ways that we can work together to as a partnership so that we're doing the best that we can to keep you informed, you keeping us informed and supporting your child. Just a little bit of other information and some of the forms. I know that you will have already completed the consent form, the new pupil form. You will be getting information through a new pupil leaflet, and that'll give you specific information about your school, where your child is attending. And certainly the newsletter, it will be specific to your school and will tell you lots of things, information about what's going on in your school. The All About Me leaflet, that will come home for you to complete, and then you can bring it when your child starts school. That's an opportunity for you to tell us about your child, about what they like and what they're interested in. And I'll just give you a little example from one that I received from a child. I looked at a little boy's All About Me leaflet, and it told me that he loved playing in the garage with his daddy and mending cars, and that his favourite music was Lady Gaga. Now, when that little boy came into school, I'd prepared for his interests. So in the construction area, I'd put some cars, I'd put a toolbox with tools in. And each morning when he came in, he absolutely loved going into the construction area and making the cars, mending the cars with the tools. Now, we like to know what your child is interested in so that we can put things in provision. Obviously, as they go through the reception class, they might come into early morning work, which might be something based on what they've done the day before. So the All About Me leaflet can just tell us initially what your child is interested in so that we can support their interests as they come into school initially. In terms of a water bottle, children do bring water bottles to school. Again, we'll keep you updated on this in terms of the COVID virus and guidance from the government for September. We do have a free fruit scheme, so your child will get fruit every day. We have a Parent Pay, which is an online system, and so anything that you need to pay for school around school lunches or trips, you can pay through the Parent Pay. And if you want to have more information about that, your teacher will give you the further information on that. So, getting ready for school. What can you do to support your child so that they're ready for school in September? Well, our aim is to ensure that children are independent, because children really like to do things independently and often become frustrated if they can't. So when they're in school, we do everything we can to develop their independence. From dressing independently, including putting coats on, gloves, zipping coats up, going to the toilet, washing and drying their hands, cleaning up the paint pots. At lunchtime, they will be in the dining room, and so they'll be using their own knife and fork. And we'd really like it if you could help them to do some of these things in preparation for when they start school in September. We'd really like it if your child was able to recognise their own name, because when they come into school, their name will be on their coat peg. They might need to self-register, which means finding their own name. Also being able to write their name. So if over the summer holidays you can work with them on that, that will give them a really good start for when they start in September. Also helping your child to count to 10. Now, I know a lot of children can probably recite the numbers to 10, so say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next step then is, can they actually count out 10 things? And then when they've got those 10 and you say to them, so how many have you got? Can they say, I've got 10? Because that's really helping them to understand about number and be able to count numbers to 10. So we also encourage children to tidy up, because as I've shown you on some of the slides, we've got a rich environment with lots of wonderful resources. So we really need your child to be able to tidy up independently, and we work as a team to get our classroom back to that really high quality environment that we all expect. So maybe at home they can help you with the tidying up just by, maybe picking their clothes up off the floor and folding them, because I know what children are like. So just helping you in any way that they can with the tidying away. Okay, so we've just come to the end of the presentation now, and it just leaves me to say how truly excited we are about welcoming you to Outwood Family of Schools, where we really do put children first in order to raise standards and transform lives. And, you can see from those images on the PowerPoint here just how inspiring the environments are in our schools across Outwood. And so, although they may not look quite like this in September because we're following the government guidance in terms of keeping the environment really clean and safe for your children, there might be reduced resources, but what I can say to you is I know your child will get a really warm welcome, they'll have a really stimulating environment, and they will have the highest quality of education. If you have any concerns at all, if you have any questions following this presentation, please don't hesitate to contact your teacher. And you will be hearing from your teacher in the next few weeks so that they can give you updated information about the start in September. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and I look forward to seeing you at some time when I'm in schools. Take care. Bye.